Okay. Okay, so I'm recording now. All right, so if Naya.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Teacher, please, I want to ask, is there any difference between the Kobo Collect and the ODK Collect?
Okay. Like I said yesterday, the difference between Kobo Collect and ODK Collect is the difference between HP and Dell. All right. So HP and Dell are different laptops from different companies. You load Windows 10 in HP, it works. You load Windows 10 in Dell, it works. You load Microsoft Office in HP, it works. You do the same in Dell, it works. All right, but they're from different companies. So the main thing that drive ODK is the XLSForm. All right, XLSForm is the fuel of ODK, and that XLSForm works across platforms. People who who spend so much in building survey tools like a Survey CTO and all use basically XLSForm. I think the only one I've seen that doesn't use XLSForm is the CS entry, which I mentioned yesterday, very robust tool that uses Python instead. So the XLSForm, which we're going to take part by part now until we scatter it, is the one I know that is central. It works across platforms. So it works in Kobo Collect, it works in ODK. Like yesterday, we tried to load the form we developed in Kobo Collect and it worked. We also loaded it in ODK Collect and it worked. So the difference is same difference between Dell and HP. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so Kobo Collect, when you're doing Kobo Collect, there is also a possibility that you can, they have this Kobo toolbox that is a toolbox that also has a server-side technology. So you can decide to send your data to a different server on Kobo. Yeah, but whatever form you build here will be acceptable in ODK. All right?
Okay, thank you.
So let's fire. Well, we've done almost 30 minutes and we've not even started. Okay, so could you lower your hand so that I won't mistake it for a fresh hand? If Naya. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so XLSForm. XLSForm, like I said, is the engine room that drives ODK. So once you learn the basics and fundamentals of XLSForm, you have mastered ODK form building. Everything depends on XLSForm. If you learn this, then you can as well build other forms that are not even ODK. So that's why I did not go directly. I didn't jump to build. Build is like Google Form. It's a drag and drop system, all right? But this is taken into a basic coding. And once you learn it, you have learned like a general platform for form development, and it's going to help you a whole lot. So XLSForm is usually in Microsoft Excel, and it can also, when you use ODK build to develop a form, you can also export it as XLSForm. So XLSForm is what we just type, different things we just type in Microsoft Excel, but we type it in such a way that the computer understands that this is XLSForm. And Okay, let me show you an example. Okay, just hold on. Okay, so I'm switching my screen for now. Or let me share the two of them. Okay, just stay on. Okay, yep. So this, you're seeing an Excel sheet, right? But it's tiny. Okay, so let me say I have something like this. Okay, just stay with me, okay? Please, how many of you are is any of you using phone? I want to be sure of my screen size. Is any of you using phone to participate? Please, just indicate.
Yes.
Okay, okay, Grace.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, if Naya, are you there? I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay, so when you see this in Excel, this is equal to what does this signify?
Like a sum.
Hmm?
That is equal to, I don't know.
When you see equal to in a cell in Excel, what does it signify? Okay, it's fine, all right? I just want to draw your attention to something, okay? So anytime you see equal to in Excel, automatically what it signifies is that you are typing a formula, all right? So
Okay.
once you open a Microsoft Excel and you type equal to anywhere, immediately the computer starts reading whatever you type next as a formula. For instance, I just click here and then it's already saying G2 plus H2, all right? And it will give whatever is in G2 and then whatever is in H2, okay? So you see, so anytime you type equal to, Excel sees it as a formula. The same way, there are patterns. There are patterns and there are patterns in which we type in Excel and the computer will see it and identify it as XLS form. All right. So that pattern is what we are going to learn. And that pattern is what was displayed here. Where is that screen again? Hold on. I want to go over to my PowerPoint and it's not coming up. Okay. So because this is built in Excel, it is built sheet by sheet. I said sheet 1 is going to be called survey. And this is where you code all the questions. What is your age as at last birthday? Are you currently employed? Did you use insecticide treated nets to sleep last night? How many members of your household are aged less than 15 years? Have you been pregnant before? When was the last time you visited the clinic? You know, all those things, all these questions, we type them inside the survey sheet. And then in sheet 2, we call it choices sheet. So you want to ask somebody, have you been pregnant before? You will also give the person options of yes or no, right? So to make a choice from. So yes or no are the options. You're going to list yes or no, those options inside the choices sheet. You want to ask somebody their marital status, single, divorced, married, separated, scattered, fighting, all those things. You have those 7 lists of options. So you're going to be listing those options in the choices sheet. All right. So settings is now the third sheet where you set up some things about server connection, the title of the questionnaire, the version of the questionnaire in case you make updates in the future. All right, so we'll understand this better in the practical session. So again, the survey sheet. The survey sheet is a Excel sheet. In Excel sheet, so the first sheet there, you are going to rename it as survey, all in lowercase. And then the survey sheet has 3 compulsory columns. Those 3 compulsory columns are type, name, and label. Under type, that's where you define the data type. Under name, that is where you set the variable name. If you are doing a research, if you're entering your data in SPSS, definitely you would have a variable name. So you want to collect data about age. Age is a variable. You want to collect about sex. Sex is a variable. You want to collect about blood pressure is a variable. Any variable at all, whether continuous, categorical, dependent, independent, any kind of variable at all, you type the name of that variable under the name column. Then the label column is now the same variable that is in the name column, but how you want it to be seen. So for instance, if your variable is age and you type age as the name of a variable in the name column, you can come to the label column and give it any name you want it to be seen as. If I'm doing data collection for you, you don't want to give me a questionnaire that just has age for me to collect. You want to make it more interactive. So you want to say, what is your age as at last birthday? You want me to ask that question like that, because you don't expect me to go to the field and ask the respondent age. They will think I'm stupid. To make it more interactive, I'll ask them, what is your age as at last birthday? So you type the name of the variable, which is age, under name, and then you come to label and then speak it in the language you want it to display on the ODK collect. So you say age in name, and then what is your age as at last birthday? The choices sheet again, like the survey sheet, will have 3 compulsory columns. One is called list name, the other is called name, and the other one is called label. So these columns are what makes up the choices sheet. When we go into Excel proper, you will understand better. So the settings, we'll do this in our second or third class. So like I said, this is an Excel sheet. This is an Excel sheet. And when you open an Excel sheet, you will usually see sheet 1 here. You usually see sheet 1. You would see sheet 2. And then you would see sheet 3 here. And then you see sheet 4. And then so on. So I had renamed this sheet 1 to survey. Forget about what you're seeing here. I had renamed, this is my sheet 1, but I had renamed it survey. So this is what you're going to be doing tonight. Ifunanya and Grace, you're going to be renaming this to survey. You're also going to be renaming the second sheet to choices, and you're going to be renaming these settings. So these 3 sheets are what makes up the XLSForm. These are what makes up the XLSForm. So Excel automatically currently understands that this is an XLSForm just by having survey, choices, and settings in this order. It understands that this is an XLSForm. All right, and it must be in this order. Okay, so let's move on. So this is the survey sheet. So if you click this survey sheet, for instance, it will bring up the sheets for survey, and that is what we're seeing. And I told you that survey sheets has 3 compulsory columns: type, name, and label. Type is the data type. What is the type of data that you want to collect? What is the type of input that you want to receive? Is it date? Is it time? Is it text? Is it phone number? Is it integer? Or is it decimal? Or is it select? Select means that you want to select from a pool of options. So these are the data types that are available. Under the name, that's where you list the name of the variable and then the alias of that variable, what you want it to display on the screen. We'll see all of that. So we have list name, we have name, we have label. This is for choices sheet. This is how it looks like in the choices sheet. This is the list name, this is the name, this is the label. So the name is like you coding an option, maybe a Likert sort of thing, strongly agree, or sex, male and female. You say male represents 1 and female represents 2. You code it that way. So you're going to be typing under the name column, you're going to be typing 1 and 2 as their code. And then in label, that's now where you put what you want to display. So you don't want the options to display as 1 and 2. You want the options to display as male and female, but you want your analysis to carry them coded as male as 1 and 2. All right. So this is where you give them a general name that will link to the survey sheet when we get there. Don't worry, if you are not there yesterday, you'll understand. So these are the data types I was talking about. The type of inputs you want to receive in your questionnaire. Is it a date type? So you're going to be defining it in the type column that you want a date type. Is it a text type? You're going to be defining that also. Is it integer? You're going to be defining that. Is it decimal? You're going to be defining that. And is it select? So you're also going to be defining that. So select will have 2 types of select. Select one means that if there are 10 options, you can only select one. You can only make one choice. You can't select more than one. And it usually comes in radio button. But select multiple means that you can select more than one choice, all right? Means that you can select more than one option. So in select multiple, it comes as a checkbox, but in the other one, it comes as a radio button, all right? So note is another data type that doesn't take input. It only displays whatever you write beside notes. It only displays it as a read-only information. It doesn't accept input. Okay, so we are going to be building a questionnaire, a basic questionnaire that takes this information. We're going to be building a questionnaire that takes title, name, age, sex, marital status, symptoms, and then date of first appointment and employment status. All right. So the way we're going to be doing it is in Excel. So at this point, I would want you to take the next 5 minutes and open your Microsoft Excel. So when you open your Microsoft Excel, you're going to be doing this. You're going to be renaming these 3 sheets. So if you open it and it's just one sheet, click on the plus sign to add more sheets. So when you open it, double click here. Once you double click inside the place they wrote sheet 1, it will become editable. So all you need to do is use backspace to delete whatever is inside there and then rename it survey. Then go to sheet 2, double click it again. And when you double click it, it becomes editable again. Then type choices, go to settings, double click it, it becomes editable, type settings. All right. Like I said, if you have just one sheet, click on the plus sign and new sheet will be created. So open your Excel and do this in the next 5 minutes. You will hear my voice again in the next 5 minutes. So we take the practical session. All right. So have we all opened our Excel and renamed the various sheets like I'm doing now? So I am double clicking on the double clicking here to rename to survey, and I'm double clicking here. I click the plus sign to create a new sheet. So I'm double clicking to rename as choices, and then I click another plus to create another sheet, to add another sheet. So I rename it settings. Okay. One. Okay. So if Naya, have you opened your Excel?
Yes, I've done that.
So have you renamed the 3 sheets?
Yes.
Okay. So you have survey sheets, you have choices sheets, and you have settings sheets, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So let's go to work. Let's start working. So these are the 3 sheets that make up XLSForm. Anytime you're building a questionnaire, this is where you start. Just create this sheet, you know you have started. So the next thing would be to name our columns, to give our column names, all right? Or to name our variables, depending on how you call it. You remember that columns take the variables in Excel or in any database form. The columns usually take the variables, while the cells take the record. That's the record, the submissions, the, I don't know, response, however you want to call it. So our first column name from the PowerPoint presentation is going to be type. No, it's going to be type in lowercase, small letter type. All right. And the second one is going to be name. And the third one is going to be label. So to make it more visible and to make it distinct from every other content of our Excel, I am going to change the text size and make it bold. Can also add anything that will make it look better and different from every other thing, so that it will really look like column names. So I told you that these are the 3 compulsory columns, but there are more. There are more. There is hints, there is constraints. So with time, we'll go through those ones. Okay. So now we want to create a questionnaire. Remember that, let me type those assignments here. We said, okay, just hold on a little. Yeah. So we said want title, name, age, sex. Want to build a form that has a title, a form that has name, a form that has age, a form that has sex, marital status, symptoms, clinic history. Okay, what does that read? Just hold on. The date of first appointment and employment status. Date of first appointment, employment status. So we're building a form that has that takes that gives us input about the social demographic characteristics of our respondents. Please give me a second, please. Okay, so we're building a form that accepts inputs about the socio-demographic characteristics of our respondents, and we're interested in the title of the questionnaire, the name, the age, sex, marital status, symptoms, date of first appointment, and employment status. So how do we go about this? So someone has, or you want to do a research and you have this type of questionnaire, where do you start from? You have already started. If you have opened a blank Excel sheet, Excel workbook, remember that one Excel file is called Excel workbook, all right? Meanwhile, I hope you saved this as ODK practice on your desktop. If you didn't, make sure you do that before you close it. Otherwise, you lose everything you've done before. So at the end, save as ODK practice on your desktop. All right. So we have started already. Like I said, if you have created 3 sheets and renamed it survey choices and settings, you've started. So the next is want to start with survey. That's where we usually start our work. Start with survey. So starting with survey, remember I said that the survey sheet takes the questions itself. So your questionnaire is divided into questions and what now? Options. All right. For those that have options, there are some that don't take options, like age and name. There are no options. All right. Except you want to put options, maybe age group, then you can do it that way. But otherwise, it will just get an input. All right. So you start with survey, and the first thing in our list is title. What is the name of our questionnaire? What's the title of our questionnaire? What name do we want to be displayed as soon as we open our ODK? What's the first thing we want to display? So let's say the first thing we want to display is who would suggest a questionnaire name now? Let's say you want to do a research on what antenatal visit. Okay. Utilization. Utilization, Guinea.
ANC, utilization of ANC service.
That's good. So let's say we're working on a questionnaire called, let me just type, don't take this, I'm just typing randomly here, right? Utilization of ANC services. Okay, just this is the name of our questionnaire. So we want it to appear in the first page of ODK. How do we go about that? So remember that when I talked about data type, I want this to display. I don't want it to ask for any input. I just want it to display as a read-only text. So when I mentioned data type, I said that there is one that does not take input. What it does is to display what we ask it to display, and that is note. So note is a data type that displays whatever we ask it to display. It does not take or accept input. It does not request for input. It just displays. All right. So that means that coming back to our questionnaire, that means that the type that we need here is going to be notes. So you have defined this row, like I said yesterday, one row, one question, one row, one question. So for this row, we have defined that whatever is appearing here is going to be read only. It's going to just be displayed to the research assistant. It's not asking for any input. So we say notes. And then the name, remember it's our title, so we can just freestyle and name it title. Okay. And then because it's going to display something on the screen. What do we want it to display? So what I said earlier is that this column type defines the type of input you will receive. All right. Name defines the variable name. So when you do your exports, this name is going to appear as the variable name. But what alias do we want to give this name? It will be ridiculous for us to open ODK, and the first thing we see is the name of this variable, which is title. It will be very ridiculous to open ODK and then we see just title like that. All right. So we want it to appear in a language or the way we want it to show. So we'll give it a nickname that will be displayed on the ODK collect. So that's now where we'll type utilization of ANC services. So label takes the alias. It takes the always known as, the AKA, all right, that will be displayed. So hold on, I'm a bit disconnected in my phone. Okay, so but let's continue. So next is name, the name of the respondent. The name is going to be coming up as Uche, Ezema, UCHE space Ezema. Please hold. Okay, BC is in waiting room. Hello, BC. I have. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. All. Okay, so the next thing is name, and that, like I said, is going to be taking Uche Ezema. So it will be also ridiculous if your data collector goes to the field where name is supposed to be, the person mistakenly types 24. You know that if you give maybe secondary school leavers or even some BSc holders, if you give them hard copy questionnaires to go and do data collection for you, especially self-administered questionnaire, if they just distribute 500 questionnaires, there are chances that someone where they're supposed to write the name of a health facility, they will write either age or phone number there. All right. The information that is there is not supposed to be there. So ODK helps you to avert all those unfortunate events whereby what is required in a field is text, but instead you are getting integer there. So again, I told you that there are data types, and I mentioned that there's a data type that is called text. And that data type that is called text takes text string characters. Anytime you hear string, it means characters starting from A, that's alphabet starting from A to Z. And then special characters like ampersands, like $sign, like at, like pound sign, like yeah, things like that. And also a white space. So if I say Uche Ezema, for instance, you see there is a space between Uche and Ezema. That space, I had to click the tab on my keyboard to create that space, Abi. That space, computer recognizes it as a character, and that character is called white space. So if computer is counting how many words is in Uche Ezema, it's going to count it as 10, not 9. What you're seeing is 9, but that one space is a character and computer counts it. All right. So anytime you're designing a form and you want to declare or define the data type, you're for something that you want to take information like alphabet from A to Z or special character, you're going to be using text as the data type. So the next question that we want to create in our ODK is name. And name, we're expected to take character A to Z. All right. So the type of data, the type of input we want is text. So we define it as text. And then the title is going to be name of respondent. Like I said yesterday, name might not just be enough. We don't know if it's name of the data collector or the name of the head of the household. So we can just say respondent's name. And like I said again, I like using short form, so I could type resp underscore name. There's a reason I put underscore. Remember that when I was describing text data type, I said that this white space here is recognized by computer. All right, is recognized by computer. And under the column name, there are characters that are not acceptable. For instance, you cannot use digits like 1 to start a variable name. You cannot use digits like 1 to start a variable name. You cannot have this as a variable name. And you cannot have respondent white space name as a variable name. These are rules. The computer reads what we call language, and the language it reads depends on the program it's running. So if it's running XLSForm, this is its own language. So if the computer is understanding Yoruba in XLS, you don't go and speak Hausa to it. So the rule in XLSForm is that you don't put white space under this column name at all. Okay, so in order to make it, if I close the white space, it will read as resp name. If you look at this, you won't know whether it's Spanish or French. So, but in order to make it more readable, you put underscore. So anybody that sees this will know, will guess that this means respondent underscore name, that this means respondent's name. So the same way, you could also have something like first underscore name. You could have last underscore name, things like this. So you see how readable what your coding is. Your code is so readable and easy. All right, so let's move on with what we're doing. So name, we have given it a name as respondent's name, but how do we want it to be displayed on the ODK phone while collecting data? Do you want it to display as resp underscore name? That will look crazy and sound crazy. Like you're collecting data and next thing is resp underscore name. How are you going to collect that data? So you would want to give it a nickname that is interactive, all right, that is friendly and interactive. So you're going to speak small English like, what is your name? All right, you could say, may I know your name? Any of these. So, but me, I will just say, what is your name? Okay, so this is set. The next is age. So once to take the age, we don't want the date of birth. All right, what we want is age. There's difference between date of birth and age. Date of birth is going to be accepting date, day, month, and year, but age is a number, all right, which is generally drafted from today, that is date today, today's date minus date of birth. So we're not interested in dates, we're interested in the age as a number. And again, it would be ridiculous that you ask someone for age and then they come and type 15 for you this way. If you put this in XPSS, you will not be able to analyze it because this is not a number. This is not an integer. It's not a digit. So you want to put it, you want the input that suits your data type. Okay. So let's go back to the PowerPoint again for the benefit of the people that were not here yesterday. So going back to the PowerPoint, we see that whenever we want an input to be a number, the type of data is integer. All right, so we've talked about text, we've talked about notes. Now we're talking about integer. There's also decimal. So for instance, you want to take their age in year and month, and you're finding it difficult to define months in ODK. You could take decimal. So if someone is 10 years and 6 months, you tell the data collector to put 10.6. If someone is 2 years and 3 months, you tell the data collector to do 2.3. But if you want to create 3 columns, one accepting age in years, the other one accepting age in months, the other one accepting age in weeks, maybe it's an immunization program where weeks matter, then you can do that. But if you want to put everything in one column, you could use decimal. If you are doing costing, maybe economic analysis that has a lot of point decimals, you could use decimal as well. Okay, so for the age, we're going to be using integer. All right, so let's go back to our Excel. So for age, our data type is integer, and the variable name is going to be age. All right, we just want the variable name, the name of this particular variable to be age. So we don't want the ODK to just read age. We want it to speak more English that will make it more interactive. So we'll say, what is your age? Or what is your current age? All right. So this is how it is. This is how I see it. Yeah. So if Naya, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Are you following?
Yes.
Any questions so far?
No, but what I wanted to ask initially was when you were writing the type name label, you wanted to use uppercase and later on now said no, it's lowercase. Is there any reason for that? Are there
Yes.
policies or something?
Yes. XLSForm. XLS is a language, all right? Computer has languages. Programming languages have languages. For instance, we have a Python programming language that is used to code Quora. You know about Quora, right? We have a C# that they used to code Facebook. So we have other programming languages. It's just like SPSS and Stata or APinfo. Or which software are you very conversant with? So the language that's every other thing here or listing is not the same as what XLSForm listing. For instance, in Excel, are you there? In
Yes, I am.
Excel, if this represents someone's age, all right, and I want those that are less than 30, I want it to write here less than 30 for those that are less than 30, and for it to write here greater than 30 for those that are greater than 30. In Excel, I will say equals to if this is less than is less than 30, write less than 30. Otherwise, write greater than 30. I close with brackets and then I click enter. and then I drag this here, maybe down to this other place. So if I say here is going to be 17, 47, 51, automatically it changes. So the computer, the moment I wrote if is less than 30, the computer reads it as a formula, and then it comes here to check whether the number here is less than 30. So wherever it sees that the number is less than 30, it comes here to write less than 30. Wherever it sees that here is greater than 30, it comes here to write greater than 30. All right. But in XLSForm, if I want to represent this in XLSForm, I would do dot less than 30. All right. So Excel ordinarily understands this language. Maybe this is Hausa or Igbo. So Excel understands this Igbo language, but this is Latin. Excel does not understand this. All right. But XLS, which we are working with on ODK, understand this, but doesn't understand this. All right. So in XLS, the rule, the syntax in XLS is that under, when you are declaring the column names, you don't use capital letter. XLS will not recognize it. So when you want to load your data to the server, it will tell you that your data does not have the type column, even though you typed type, but in capital letter. All right. The same way in the name column, if you have a white space here, XLS will not recognize, it will throw this out. It will tell you that this column is empty, or that you have a wrong variable name. So XLS does not see this. Once you declare a name here, it is looking for a name that is in accordance with XLS rule. And that rule is that there should be no white space between two different characters. That's why, to make it more readable, we'll put underscore. All right. If Naya, are you there?
Yes, okay, thank
All right.
you.
All right. Grace, your hand has been up. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, yes. Thank you, Mr. Uche. When you talk about the age, you said if you wanted the age in weeks or in months, we can also create different columns for that. So how do we go about doing that? How do we do that?
Okay. See, professors in ODK are now asking advanced question in ODK. I feel okay. So if I want this to take the age in months, I could use decimal here. And if I use decimal here, it's going to accept 10.4 as it's going to accept. Could you mute yourself?
Okay.
So it's going to accept 10.4 as 10 years, 4 months. Of course, you have to agree with the data collectors. That's wherever they said a child is 10 years, 4 months, put 10.4. So if it's if you're talking about a vaccine that has to be taken in 9 months, for instance, you're looking for children under 9 months. So they go to a place and the child is 8 months. You say put 0.8. So once you see 0.8, you know it's 8 months. Okay, this is based on agreement. But if you want to have several columns to take the age in years, so you could have integer age underscore year. So you come here and say what is your child's age in years. So you come again and create another integer and say age underscore months. It asks the same question. What is your child's age in months. So you declare another integer. Sorry. What am I writing? And then say age underscore week. Say what? Let me just copy this and paste and edit. What's your child's age in weeks? Okay, so you're going to have it. You will now have 3 columns of, they'll put the person's age in months, put it in weeks, put it in years. So if a child is was born in in June 25th, you know that the child is not even up to a month. So you put the data collectors will put 0 in age in years, put 0 in age in months, and then come to weeks and put 1 or 2 if the child is up to 2 weeks. So when you look at the data during analysis, you know that this person is not up to 1 year, is not up to 1 month, is just 2 weeks. So that makes life easier for you. So Grace, is that understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's continue. Let's go ahead. Sex is, we want the sex to be male and female, all right? So let me write randomly here. I want the sex to be male and female. So and we want to code it such that 1 represents male and 2 represents female. Okay, so if that's the case, we're going to be needing the data collectors to select either male or female. And of course, in Nigeria, 1 person cannot be male and female at the same time. So we want them to select either male or female. Or if 1 person can be 2 at the same time, so put both. So if, for instance, you are asking about tests done, you want to know whether they did RDT or microscopy or both. So you can have these 3 options in your ODK, all right? RDT, microscopy, or both. So I'm just saying that both is acceptable. So instead of going to, if you have 3 options, instead of going to have select multiple where they will do 3 checkbox and then it will be confusing, just do select 1. So they either select RDT, microscopy, or both of them. So we're going to be having these 3 options for the purpose of this training. We're going to be having male, female, and both. So both will be 3. Anywhere there is 3, it represents both. So still on our, so I want to freeze my first row so it doesn't move with others. Okay, so still on our survey sheet, we are coming to write sex. Remember that there is going to be options, these 3 options for our data collectors to select from. So far, they are selecting from options. The data type is no longer notes. The data type is no longer text. The data type is no longer integer. The data type is now select. All right. I showed it in the PowerPoint. I know there's been a request for me to share this slide. I actually forgot. After this class, I'll do my best to share it. Battery. Okay, I'll do my best to share it tonight. All right. So the type here is going to be select. So we write select. We want it to select just 1 option, not 2. So we'll say select underscore 1. All right. So when we say select underscore 1, the variable name is sex, and then the question we want to display is what is your sex. Well, of course, definitely you won't, while looking at someone, except it's Bobrisky, you won't ask the person what is your sex. When you look at someone, you know their sex. Abi, at least in Nigeria. So you ask what is your sex, or then you can in hints tell the data collector, observe the respondents and select as appropriate. So let's just forget that grammar. When we discuss hints, we'll talk about that. But for now, let this question read, what is your sex? Okay. So sex is settled. Next is marital status. So we're going to be faster now. Again, marital status, we're going to be having single, divorced, married, separated. So because of that, we still need to select one option from the pool of options we have. All right. So to select _1 marital. Remember that there is no white space marital status, but this is not readable. It is not readable at all. It's not reader friendly at all. So to make it more readable, we just introduce underscore. This is my personal practice of making my variable name more readable. So I usually use underscore all the time. So you see, it's more readable, marital status. So okay, so you can now ask, what is your marital status? Okay, so the next is date of first appointment. So this date of first appointment is not going to take integer. It's not going to take select one because we're not selecting from options. It's also not going to take notes because we want an input. It's not going to take text. It is going to accept date. All right, it's going to accept date. So once you put dates, computer reads it and know that you want dates. Those that practiced yesterday saw that as soon as you got to this question, it brings up a calendar. It's because of this thing you put here. If you didn't put date here, it won't bring up that calendar. All right, date. You type date of first. Oh, my typing has gone so bad. First appointment. Oh, sorry, I'm typing in name. So this is actually supposed to be in the label. Meanwhile, this is dates underscore first appointment. All right. Dates, I could call it dates of first appointment this way, just to make it more readable. I don't like writing long, so I like shortening everything. This can also work. The next is employment status. Okay, we've not captured symptoms. Okay. Okay, symptoms. We are still selecting from a pool of symptoms, but we want such a way that a patient can select, a respondent can select, or a data collector, sorry, can select more than one option. So we'll say select, this time is no longer one option, it's going to be multiple. So putting select multiple enables the data collector to select more than one option, unlike select one, where only one option could be selected. So the data, the variable name is symptom, and the question will be which of these symptoms do you have in the last 1 month or last 1 week. So the last is employment status. We want to know if they're employed or not. So the question is going to just read, are you employed? I'm not sure we did this question yesterday, this employment status. I doubt, because I don't remember treating yes or no yesterday. Can someone answer me?
I think we did.
Did you do yes or no?
Yes.
Are you for real?
We did. We did.
Okay. I'm surprised it doesn't ring a bell at all. And I actually put it there so we can practice yes or no. Okay. That's the pro. We did, but we used employment as the list name. I did not achieve what I wanted it to. Okay, that's fine. So employment status, the question is, are you employed? So just the variable name employment. Then the data type here again is select. So we're going to be selecting either yes or no. They are employed or they are not employed. So we'll say select _1. Grace, your hand is still up. Any question? Okay, BC, sorry. BC, any question?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
When you were dates, you said it was going to bring up a calendar. I was waiting to see it. I didn't see it.
No, ODK collects. I said, this is a questionnaire we're developing, and after that, we import it to the server and then download with our phone to now do data collection. Let's say when you download with your phone and you start doing your data collection, once you reach this question, it will bring a calendar for you to select from, the dates from the calendar. So, and what is prompting the system, your phone, to bring that calendar out is this simple thing you typed here, date. So the moment you type date here, it brings a calendar. If you type time, for instance, let's say time, the interview ended, interview _time, to bring a clock sort of for you to select the time.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Lower your hand. So our questionnaire is cooked, right? We can load to server now, right? Who is answering me? Anybody can just unmute yourself and respond. Can we load to server now?
Yes, yes. Yes, we can.
We can load to server now.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. I want more response. Okay, so what did you say?
We cannot.
We cannot. Yes, we cannot. We are not ready to load to server. What's the reason?
Not finished filling the sheet, like the choice sheet.
Yes, excellent. Yeah. So
Just the survey.
the survey sheet is ready, but the choice is not ready. So I've just declared the asked questions. We've not even provided the options to the. Okay.
Again, the command. You're not even given the command.
Yes. The command and the arguments. All right. Mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, so now over to choice sheets. In the choice sheets, we're going to be linking the choice and survey sheet, because survey will be making use of the choice sheet to pull options to each of the questions here. All right, each of these questions that have either select one or select multiple, this choice sheet is going to be using it to link back to survey sheets and then supply list of options to the survey sheet. So the choice sheet, just like the survey sheet, has 3 columns, 3 compulsory columns. Okay, I want to make it as bold as possible. 3 compulsory columns. Okay, this is virtual. I would have asked questions about those 3 compulsory columns, but it will take our time. So I would just assume that those of us in the class yesterday still remember what those columns are. So we'll have here list name. This particular list name accepts it accepts white space. That's for the column name. It accepts white space. Then we'll have the name and we'll have the label. There could be more columns, but these are the 3 compulsory ones that we'll be using for a start. Maybe in our next class, when we'll still do a little XLSForm, we can see how we'll add more columns in the choices sheet. Okay, so going back to our questions, I deleted them all. All right, it's okay. Going back to our questions, we'll be supplying for those ones that have options in the choices sheet. So I want to ask, who do I ask? Ekochin, Ifunanya, Grace. Who do I ask? Who do I ask? Who do I ask? Okay. Ekochin, Cynthia, Dr. Cynthia, are you there? Are you there, ma?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so which
Yes, I'm here.
Which one question here are we going to be supplying to the choices sheet? Which one questions requires us to put answers in the choices sheet? For example,
I don't understand. Which question are you talking about?
in this list of, can you see my screen?
This survey sheet now. This is the
Yes,
survey sheet.
yes.
What's
In
on
this survey
the screen?
sheet, yes, in this survey sheets, which of these questions require option?
Symptoms.
Symptoms. Yeah,
Which of these
symptoms.
symptoms?
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. So now the hack is that anytime you look at an XLSForm, all right, anytime you look at an XLSForm and you see select, whether select one or select multiple, that particular question must have a component in the choices sheet. Is a must. So anytime there is something select in the survey sheet, it must have a choices component in the, it must have a component in the choices sheet. So one of them, like you rightly said, is the symptoms. But just to not confuse us, let's start with the first select underscore one, which is sex. All right. So here, the sex we have is, the sex we have is male, female, and both. All right. Let's just say transgender, or I don't wish to say, I don't wish to disclose. Okay, so these are the 3 sex options that we have. And now, like I told you, we have to code them. Of course, if you have done analysis in SPSS before, you use coding, you use code to do analysis. SPSS, APInfo, Stata, use coding. Okay, so same here, because we'll be exporting this data after collection to such softwares, you also need to code it. So we code this as 1, 2, and 3. But I said in the survey sheet later on at the advanced stage, we may need to make reference to this number, and we don't want the survey sheet to see these numbers as integer. So there's a way we can convert this number to string. String is like character, like A to Z. There's a way we can convert this number to A to Z, such a way that even though it's appearing as 1, 2, 3, computer is not seeing it as number, it is seeing it as string. For instance, if I typed my phone number 0806331960 in Excel and I hit the enter button, the leading 0 would disappear. Oh my God. Hold on, please. Sorry. So if I entered this number, the leading 0 would disappear. Okay. The leading 0 would disappear. And if I entered an account number like GTB or Access that usually start with 004739291, the leading zeros will disappear. All right, so it will be difficult to make use of this account number, but there's a way we can force that leading 0 to stay by converting this number to string. Excel sees this as a number, and Excel knows that any 0 before an integer is nonsense, so it takes it away from you for you. But there's a way you can force it and tell Excel, see, whether you like it or not, I want this 0 to be here. How do you do that? Just use this upper, I don't know what they call this, upper quotations, upper single quotation, I think apostrophe. Just use apostrophe before that 0. So put apostrophe and put your 00, and then bam, it stays. In the phone number, put apostrophe and put your 0, and then it stays. All right, so Excel is now seeing this number as a string and no longer as an integer. So the same way here, if you come to this place, all you have to do is double click inside, bring the cursor before 1, not after. Bring the cursor before 1, put apostrophe before it, and then it changes from number to string. Do the same for 2, and then do the same for 3. Change all of them to string, and this is what we want. So this code, 1 represents male, 2 represents female, and 3 represents I don't wish to disclose. So the list name is the main thing that we will use to supply the survey sheet. So we'll come here and then find a name to hold this together, a common name that will hold these 3 things together. What name is most common to hold it for us? Sex. So we'll call it sex. We'll call it sex. We'll call it sex. So sex is the name that holds these 3 options together. So we want survey sheet to see these 3 options as the list name and not as the 3 options. So survey sheet will see it as list name. It will drag this list name to itself, and then in the ODK collect, it will display it as the options. So come to survey sheet. Remember that, as we said yesterday, select one is a command. You're commanding the computer to select one option from list of options. So if you're telling it to select one, you also need to supply it with the list of options that it will select from. So if you're telling the computer to select one, you'd supply the computer the list of options from where it will select one. All right. So the list of options we have here is sex. We cannot put these 3 arguments, male, female, I don't wish to, as an argument to select one here. No, it won't make sense. So that's why we use just one name that holds 3 of them together to supply here. And then we say select one, white space, sex. So computer sees this and says select one. So the next argument is sex. So it goes immediately to choices sheet and look for group of options whose list name is sex, and then it pulls them up. The trick is that if we have another option here like symptom, and then symptom again, symptom, and then symptom, and then we'll have fever, we'll have cough. What are those youthful symptoms of? I don't know them plenty. Headache. I think headache is a symptom.
Sore throat.
Please don't mention kata before I'll ask you to spell it for me. Okay. All right. So the hack about this thing is that survey will come to this list sheet and look for any option, any label and name that has sex as their list name. So even if I have symptoms, I have sex here, and then I have symptoms here, and I come back here to have sex again, and I call it 4 and call it trans. When we pull ODK, this will be part of the options that will be listed. It doesn't matter the position. The main thing is that it has the same list name as every other option. So survey sheet will come to the choice sheet and look for the list name sex and pull every single option that is attached to the list name sex to itself. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Because I think this was the confusing part yesterday. I hope it is still not confusing now. If Naya, is it confusing?
No, it's clear.
Okay, Dr. Kochin, is it confusing?
No, not at all.
Okay, Dr. BC,
I'm fine.
Dr. Kichpu,
Fine.
Dr. Grace.
Very clear. It's clear.
Okay, Dr. Enebe.
It's okay. Let's
Right,
go.
beautiful. So I've been on 20 kilometers per hour. Now I'm going to 90 now. All right, so stop calling me. Stop calling me. Okay, so the next is marital status. So we'll supply that to the choices sheet again. We'll come to choices sheets. Our options are married. Let's start with the good thing. Married, single, followed by single. Single is also a good thing. Then divorced, depending. Separated, it also depends. Could be a good thing too. So let's have these. So remember that for each set of options, they have their own code and name. So it's not like you're going to continue 1 to 100. No, each set will start from number 1. So this one now has 4. So you have to bear that in mind. So what name do we supply to the survey arguments? Let's say M underscore status. That's marital status. Do that for others, do that for others. So we'll come back to Excel, and then the argument will supply space M underscore status, exactly as it is there. That's how we supply it here as an argument. So what XLS does is it sees select one, knows automatically that it is going to be selecting from a pool of options, and then it goes to choices sheet and looks for M underscore status. All right, and pulls all the list of options that are attached to it. So I'm going to do that with symptoms. Oh, I've listed symptoms, so I'll just supply the argument. So I'll say select multiple space symptom, no S, because there's no S in my list name. I just choose to. So employment is yes or no. So I want to know whether they're employed or not. So I want yes and I want no. So I want yes to be 1 and I want no to be 2. All right. So, and the list name is yes underscore no. This is the most popular list name in ODK, in the ODK community. Yes underscore no. That's why I insisted in using it. Okay, so yes, no, yes, no. That's what it means. So come back to survey sheet, and we'll supply it as an argument. Yes underscore no. Yep, I think we're almost done. Choices sheet is all set, complete. So we go over to settings. So in settings sheets, you don't need to do much at this level. We would talk through it. So in settings, we have form underscore title. We have form ID, and then we'll have public key. Yesterday, after filling our form, initially we couldn't save it, and we couldn't submit. It's because I put public key as 1. Public key as 1 means that is a private form, is encrypted. So an outsider, except people I grant the privilege from the server, cannot submit form if I put 1 in public key. We'll discuss that further when we start connecting to server. So we want to call our form ANC questionnaire. Ouch. ANC questionnaire. Right? Then we want to give it an ID of today's date, 2021-07. That's July 04, July 4th, 2021, and then 001, version 1. We're done. So yeah, so we're done with this. If Naya wasn't here before now, okay, BC, your hand is up. Okay, BC, so ask your question, please. Are you there? Dr. BC? Ouch. Hello, Dr. BC? Network. Okay, is all right. If Naya, you were not there yesterday, do you have ODK in your phone?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
so
let me check. Either ODK or Kobo.
Kobo.
I have one.
Okay, so okay, what will happen is that
I noticed that when we are saying as the command, why did you choose to use yes underscore no?
okay, yes underscore no, it shows that the question is a yes or no answer. All right, is a very popular and accepted. It's not. I could actually use something else, but it's a very popular argument to use in the entire ODK community. Every single yes or no question uses the argument yes underscore no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so our phone is already configured. I could do a short video on my phone to show configuration. So I will load this form we have developed onto the server. So you download it and then go through again. I think every other person have it since yesterday, so you know downloading it. But if not, I'll do a short 3 minutes video for you and find a way to share either through Enable or on the platform or whichever way, share with you. So you configure your ODK, download this particular form that I will load to the server tonight, and I will load it as ANC questionnaire. So when I load it, you you will download it and go through it and see what all of us developed tonight. So in our next class, we'll be taking this to another level. All right, we'll be taking this whole thing to another level, and we'll understand that what we're doing here is really not a joke. All right, it's not a joke. You will appreciate ODK the more. In our next class, we'll do more of XLSForm again and start ODK build. So in our final class, we just do connecting to server alone. All right, so I beg to draw the curtain here. I'm surprised that we're able to round up this in exactly 1 hour, 2 hours. That's very beautiful. That means the online class is actually possible. It's actually very, very possible.
That's
So
because we had a physical stuff before this.
is that what you
So it's
think?
more like a different class, yeah. So I think the hybrid is good.
Okay, so it helps you understand it better.
But if
Exactly.
Naya is following now, and she wasn't there in the physical.
It's okay, but
We can do a hybrid.
Uche, you know, I was almost absent.
eh?
Hello, Uche.
Yeah.
It's not only if Naya because I left quite early.
Yes,
So
I know. I remember.
I wouldn't know if you could share with me or send me the